Hi, Kendra.
Hi, Noah.
Welcome back to Here's the Thing with Kendra and Noah.
Yeah, episode 4. That's wild.
That is. Thanks for listening to the first 3 if you did.
Yeah.
If you didn't and you're just jumping in on this one, still thank you.
Still, thanks.
Yeah.
Today we're going to talk about dating.
Dating. We are both mid-20-year-olds in our mid-20s. So, dating.
It's rough out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we'll start off by getting into our dating histories. Take it away, Kenny.
Okay.
Let's start with high school, huh?
Okay.
I don't think middle school dating needs to be.
Here's the thing.
I
didn't date. I didn't date in high school. And not like, I didn't go on dates at all. I think technically I had like one date towards
Did
the
you
end
like
of high
hang
school.
out with guys though? Like one-on-one?
A couple times.
Okay.
I guess.
Truthfully, in high school, like I didn't go on many dates. You know, a lot of times it was like, hey, do you want to come over to my place and we'll watch a movie? Not my place, my parents' place, and we'll watch a movie in the basement. You know, like hanging out one-on-one was like dating in high school. You didn't like get dinner,
no, that's true. But I also feel like even that, it was just like we were just friends.
That's fair.
Like it wasn't like the vibe of like come over to my place and like
We'll see where the night takes us. Yeah.
Gross. But yeah, so I didn't in high school didn't date anyone. I feel like even in high school I just like there were guys that I liked. There were definitely guys that like I would have dated.
Sure.
That, like weren't. Basically, my whole life has just been me liking someone, them not liking me back, and then whoever likes me, I don't like them back. It just never really works out.
It's never the right, right on both sides.
But also, I feel like I knew even at like a younger age that like I didn't want to date someone just to date someone.
Okay.
Like I didn't want to date someone just to say I had a boyfriend. Or like, oh, they're cool, I'll date them for a little bit even though we'll eventually break up. Like that wasn't
so like
ever
even
something
in high school, you were like, I'm only gonna date you if I really think we have a future.
Yeah.
Like a serious future.
And like at high school, future was like, oh, could I, like if we went off to like college, would I still want you
right.
be like dating them in college? Because it just seemed pointless to me.
Yeah.
I was like, it seems like a waste of time, waste of money. I'm just gonna get hurt. Like, and I'm a sensitive.
Yeah, you are a sensitive little
girl.
bee.
Yeah. So I just avoided that. Also, lots of insecurities that I was like,
yeah, I mean,
a man doesn't want to date me.
Sure.
And then college was kind of the same thing, to be honest.
Just not a lot of dating there either, huh?
No. I think I had like a handful, and when I say like a handful, like 5 or less guys ask me out, and of course they were guys that I didn't want to be anything more than friends with. And so I never even went on a date, even though like in college you would be the time that you like actually go on like dates,
do like actual dates. Sure.
Yeah, I did. Well, I guess I went on like a couple dates. There's this guy freshman year that like I hung out with a few times.
Okay. Like one-on-one, sort of romantically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Angie's not gonna like this, but like I stayed in a dorm one night. But like,
ooh.
I mean, nothing really happened because like you're in a dorm.
Right.
I think
did he have a roommate?
and that was it. Yeah.
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 So.
But it never went anywhere.
That guy.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then I moved to Florida. Mm-hmm. And
did you date much down there? I feel like I don't remember you dating anyone down there.
I went on a couple dates. I went on a couple dates with this guy so I worked at a professional theater in Florida, in the development department. So I wasn't acting. But like the plays that we would put on, mostly we got like actors from New York.
Okay.
And we like housed them, you know, and stuff. Like they came in just for the play, the duration of the play. And there was this guy who was in one of the plays that I went on a few dates with. But then like he left and like not, you know, he went back to New York
from the
and
start.
like it was
Okay.
and I know you're thinking, Kendra, you just said that you don't date just to date. But here's the thing. I was like, wow, I'm in my mid-20s and have like never gone on a date.
Oh, so you're like,
I should
need
probably
to.
do that.
Yeah, that's fair. Get the experience.
So I did. It was fine. You know, he was cool. And then I went on a date that was awful. With
Florida
this guy. This
okay.
guy. Mike from Starbucks. Don't know his last name. He approached me while I was in a Starbucks.
And he worked at the Starbucks, or it was just at a Starbucks
he was
that he
just at a
approached you?
Starbucks. It wasn't a great date. I'll just.
Not a great date. Where'd you go? Like dinner? Was that what the day was?
Yeah, we got dinner.
Italian?
No, it was somewhere like on the beach.
Oh.
Yeah, well, yeah,
Florida,
I lived
right.
near the beach.
That's fair.
Yeah. And I didn't want to drink because I was like nervous and stuff.
Okay.
And he like kept pressuring me
Pushing
to
for
drink.
it?
And like the waitress was like, "Can I get you anything?" I was like, "No, I'm good." And he was like, "No, she wants a drink." And I was like, "No, I don't."
Yeah.
And he was like, "No, she does." And I was like, "No, I don't." And it wasn't.
It's weird to be like pushy about something like that.
And to like tell the waitress like, "No, she does want one." I'm
like,
sorry,
it would
I
be
can
one
speak for
thing
myself.
to
Thank
be
you.
like, "Are you sure?" Like, it's on me. Like, that's totally different than being like, "No, she does."
And like the way that the fact that he kept pressuring me made me want to drink even less.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, I don't trust this guy now.
Interesting.
And then I made up an excuse and left. I lied to him and I left pretty early. So yeah.
And that was Mike from Starbucks.
And that was Mike from Starbucks. And then I moved out here.
Mm-hmm. And that's where the dating
and
really, that's when she
it
blossomed. The social butterfly spread her wings, arose from the cocoon.
God, I hate you. She really did though.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we both got into like pretty serious relationships pretty quickly
yeah.
moving out here. I think yours was first.
Yeah, but they were near the same time, I'm pretty sure, weren't they?
Yeah. You were like November and I was December, I think.
Yes. Well, yeah. Well, I was like beginning of December was the first date.
Oh, then yeah.
So
yeah, same month then, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I dated a guy for It's so weird now talking about it. I dated a guy for a while and it got really serious really quickly. You know,
she doesn't date just to date.
I don't date just to date. And I will say though, most of it was not on I was not the one initiating all the like seriousness of it. He was
diving in headfirst just as much as you were.
Yeah. You know, fell in love. Being in love is always nice. It's a good time. Until your heart gets broken.
Yeah.
And then then he broke up with me during the pandemic. And my little heart was just devastated. And then he was like actually the only I didn't think I went on any dates out here besides him before I started dating him. We met at work.
Oh, before him?
We worked
Yeah.
together.
I don't remember you going on any dates.
Because I also had never been on any
Right.
dating apps.
Right.
And I hadn't we met at work, and then after him is when I started the dating apps because we were in the pandemic, and
hard to meet people in person when
it was hard to meet people in person.
Down.
I was sad. My friends were like, "You just gotta get back out there," and I was like, "Okay, fine." So I downloaded Bumble, and then
that's where things really took off.
That's where things really took off, and now I'm on Hinge and Bumble. I actually don't really use Bumble anymore. Yeah, and I will
Hinge
say
is the best one.
Most people told me Hinge. I kind of, even though I get really nervous talking to guys and like asking guys out, I liked the idea of like them not being able to message me unless I wanted them to.
Hinge is kind of like the opposite though, because like any guy can like send you a message, right, to start with. Like they can respond to your photo and be like blah blah blah.
Right. But I will say like my Bumble messages were very like it was like hi, you know, not just hi, but like I would say something, not like it wasn't a strong opener like or anything.
Like, hey, how's it going or something?
Yeah, or like something about their profile or something like that. Like I like to be a little
well, you're
sarcastic and like cheeky sometimes. So like I feel like my openers were clever, but it wasn't. I was always waiting for the guy to ask me out though.
Oh, I mean, I think having clever openings is a lot more than a lot of people do.
True. So yeah, and then I met a guy on Bumble that I was in a
situationship.
That was a real relationship at one point. Went back to being a it was a journey for 2 years.
Journey is a good word for that.
And that was 2 years. That's my longest. I mean, I call it a relationship. Right. It was a relationship for all of those 2 years. He also would call it that now. And so which was really good and like it taught me a lot, and I mean still love and respect the guy, so but now we're back out there back on the Hinge grind. It's rough out there. I'm gonna stop talking though. I talked so much the last few episodes.
That's fair. We went through your journey to now, which we'll get into now later, but I'll here's the thing, I have more to say. Right. I don't doubt that for a second.
Anyways, take it away, Noah.
Yeah, my dating was definitely different than that.
Yeah.
Which typically
Noah's like, I dated. Listen.
Yeah, I was kind of cool. I don't know. I wasn't a nerd like you. No, I dated a little bit in high school. I didn't date like a ton, but a pretty normal amount, I would say. Yeah. I would say in high school, I wasn't necessarily dating just to date. Like it was definitely like the dumb angsty high school like puppy love where it's like you're together a month and you're like, oh, I think I love her and like shit like that. But then after high school, I don't know, those relationships, like going to college, then I was like, my mindset was like, college, time to party and have fun and like casual stuff. So honestly, the first like 4 years of undergrad, I'm trying to think, I had like a couple people that I dated, but most of it was pretty casual or like just like, you know, lulls of not doing anything.
Yeah.
After those first 4 years, you know, in my like early to mid 20s, I did date a little more seriously, but I had decided that I was going to move out here pretty early. I was just saving up money. So dating girls there, I like, looking back, a little unfair to them, but like,
you knew you were gonna leave.
I knew I was gonna leave, so I didn't really, you know, I was dating seriously, I guess, but like in my head, I always knew like, well, there's an expiration date on this because I'm moving across the country.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not gonna change that plan for a girl.
Did you let them know ahead of time, like upfront, like, hey, I really like you, but the face that you're giving me right now means absolutely no, you didn't. Wow. Okay.
No, I didn't tell them that. Well, I didn't have like a hard specific date, I don't think, at that time, because I was like, I'm just going to save up money. So,
yeah, but you weren't like, yeah, I would like to move out to LA to pursue acting at some point.
I think I shared that with some girls if we got like a little more serious.
Okay.
I will say.
I mean, not that it's a thing that you have to like bring up the first date.
No, I mean, looking back, I agree.
I'm not saying that.
Kind of think I should have been more clear about that in hindsight. But what was I going to say?
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't pretend to know what goes on in your brain.
What I was thinking was, because I knew I was going to move out here, that kind of also made it so when I hit a certain point where it was like, oh, we're getting pretty serious now, that like I was like, time to jump ship. So I didn't like get really into it where it was like I was talking to them about like us getting married or like moving in together and then being like, psych, I'm out. Like I never let it get that far. It was like once things were pretty serious and it was like, oh, I think probably time to end this. So there was a good amount of dating in that period. I honestly think I dated more then than I did in like college. And then moving out here, I dated very briefly out here before I met the person that I was in a relationship with for over 2 years. I only went on one date before her, and it was just boring.
I remember you coming home telling me that.
Dude, it's just, some dates, all first dates, there's like nervousness.
Listen, I've been on some horrible dates, so.
But it was just, I think I told you this, it felt like an interview. Like it wasn't like two people talking, getting to know each other. It was just like interviewing each other. And I was just like, this is boring.
Yeah.
So sorry.
To her.
Girl. Yeah. And now at this point, coming off that long relationship, I haven't really dove back in. Divin.
Definitely not that one.
I haven't gotten back into the dating world yet. Just don't really have the desire to yet.
Which is fine and fair. Yeah.
But I was
understandable.
In my 20s. I was on all sorts of apps. Tinder, Bumble, Hinge. Tinder turned 10 years old in September.
That's one I have never been on and will never go on.
It's definitely the worst one now.
Yeah.
Like I don't think like it was the first one.
Right, but was it ever good?
Like those first few years?
Being at first, was it?
Sure. I mean, there's a reason why Bumble and Hinge became a thing because of how good Tinder was. And I mean, one of my good friends that I lived with in college for a couple of years, he met a girl on Tinder when we were like 20, like right when it came out, like really early when it came out. And they got married. They're still married to this day.
I mean,
Christian and Lauren, hi.
Congrats to you.
Yeah, so it works. But when I do get back on it, I think I'm going Hinge, maybe Bumble. But I don't know, dating apps suck.
They really do.
Yeah.
I was thinking of this today because I went on Hinge today because I knew we were talking about this. So I was like, what's on there that I could...
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I would actually love to hear your perspective on this.
Sure.
Because as a male, and this is a very broad generalization that I'm about to make. However, like usually it's on the guys to
initiate
and to like a photo, like there was one guy, because he was so good looking, that I liked his photo and that's how we matched. But other than that, every single guy that I've ever matched with, he's liked a photo first. And then I only really go on it and look at my likes. Right. Like I don't look at just like regular profiles, So because it's on like the guide to do that, do you think that guys are actually like looking at girls' profiles or do you think they're just like liking pretty much every photo? Because I've had guys who I've like crossed, like I'm like I don't want to match with them, so I like give them the little X and they'll re-like a photo, like they'll come back up in my likes. I've had this one guy and his profiles are different sometimes. like his name and stuff, and it will look.
But same pictures.
Basically. Yeah, it's the same guy. Yeah. I'm not kidding. I think 6 times, and I don't want to match with him. But I've started to be like, if he does it one more time, maybe I'll just match with him and ignore him, so that he can't like, because and it makes me even more so not want to match with them, because I'm like, okay, so either you're just liking every single girl's photo, which like, that's not realistic. You know, you're not going to like every single person. Or you're just like, don't care. Yeah. That I didn't want to match with you. And you're like, I'll just give it maybe this time. Shoot. Like, no, I don't want to match with you.
Two things I want to say about that. One, again, it's a generalization. So some guys are out there like reading profiles and like genuinely wanting to like know the girl before liking it, or like understand a little bit about who she is. But like, I would say with like 98% certainty, if it was just a like, because you can like and leave a message if you want to, right? Like if they see your picture, they can be like, wow, I love this spot. Yeah. So if they just like it and don't say anything, guarantee they did not read anything on your profile. They just saw, oh, she's hot, liked, on to the next one.
Because that's annoying, because then I'm like, okay, so you're not actually paying attention to me, because you don't remember that you already liked my photo. You don't remember then.
It's because it's a very different world on dating apps for like men and women.
But like, I obviously remember them. And I don't look at every profile that like, I'm just gonna be honest. Yeah. If I don't find you attractive on that first photo, I'll just exit. You know? But like, I still can remember that you tried to match with me before.
Yeah. My second point was, back when Tinder first came out, there was no limit, like daily limit on likes. Like you could swipe right until every person in your area was gone. Now you get like, I don't know the number, it's maybe like 50 swipes or something like that. And then you have like a 24-hour or like 12
all
hour.
dating apps?
I don't know if it's all. I believe Bumble and Tinder are like that. I think Hinge has a daily limit too to like other people. This is news
to me. I didn't know this.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't always that way. It started maybe 5 years ago, 6. I don't know. It's been so long. But at first, when Tinder was the only one, you just swiped away. And I remember our friend Mitch, friend of the pod.
Mitchy Poo!
I would be on Tinder and I would like click through the pictures and like kind of read it. And he looked at me and he goes, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "What?" He's like, "You are wasting your time." He's like, "This is what you do." And he just starts swiping. He's like, "You swipe now, you judge later." Because if you spend 3 minutes even looking at this profile.
3 minutes? That's a long time.
Okay, whatever amount of time, that adds up. And what is the likelihood that girl is going to match with you?
It's either a yes or a no. That's 50%.
No. You don't match with 50% of the people you swipe on. And for men, maybe you do. I don't know. For men, you don't. No,
I don't.
So it's a great point. Like, why waste that time beforehand? Like, swipe right, and then once you match, then look at the profile, see if she's cute, see if she has creative stuff on there. Then you can decide, oh, no, not into her, unmatch. But otherwise, you're wasting time looking at these girls' profiles that is completely wasted, because they're just going to swipe. If they swipe left on you, it's a waste of time.
But if you match, that girl might be excited, being like, oh, he matched with me, I liked him too. And then you're just going to unmatch because you didn't actually want to match with her?
100%.
That seems a little mean to me. Like, I'm sorry.
An efficiency perspective, absolutely the best way to do it.
Okay, so that's what you're going into dating with? Efficiency?
On the apps? Absolutely.
Okay.
Don't waste your time is what I'm saying.
Noah.
Kendra.
What are you looking for now?
What am I looking for now?
Yeah.
Well, like I said, right now I haven't really jumped back into the world of dating.
Yeah.
But when I do, you know, most of the first 25 years of my life, well, the years from 16 to 25 were very casual.
Yeah.
And that was fun and everything.
Yeah.
I think now when I get back into dating, it's going to be like more
because you're getting older too.
Right. Yeah, that's also why.
I'm just kidding.
But yeah, no, I don't know. I also actually have never been super into too much casual stuff. Like, even when I was hooking up with girls in college, like, I'm definitely a little soft boy, and
I was
like
gonna
I
say,
get
do you
feelings
catch
for
feelings?
people fast. Yeah.
Same.
But here's the thing, like
Same.
when I worked at like clinics and checked people in, like I'd check someone in for 30 seconds and be like, I think I want to spend my life with that woman. I'd be like, I'm in love with her. I like fall in love like that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I could see how that's. I mean, I feel that I'm kind of the same way. So yeah, it is hard sometimes to then like be detached.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Because the other thing is, if I'm hooking up with somebody and we're doing it multiple times, that means we probably, I mean, you're not just going, hooking up, leaving. Like
Right.
there is interaction there.
Right, you do talk.
You're
Yeah.
talking. And if they're a person that like I enjoy being around enough to keep coming back for that, like we've got enjoy being around. We've got physical stuff working well. Of course,
Yeah.
I'm going to start having feelings.
Yeah.
Because if the physical is great, but like I hate being around them, eventually I'm going to be like, this isn't worth it.
Well, no, because that's true. Like, even if you're just hooking up with someone, you still like them to an extent because otherwise you wouldn't even want to hook up with them at all.
Right.
Like, you wouldn't be attracted to them at all. You know, I feel like especially the first couple times that you hook up with someone and you know that it's just like a hookup,
Right.
it's so awkward. You're like, what should we talk about?
Right. Also, like, how long do we have to talk
How
before
long
we
do we
can
have
get
to
into it?
talk
Because it's like, you don't just walk in the door and you're like, let's get at it. Like, you need to make sure they're at least, like, a little normal.
Yeah.
But, like, at a certain point, you're like, all right, I'm clearly not going to
And
kill you.
then
You're not going to kill
yeah,
me.
like at some point you're like, okay, but also I'm here for something.
right. Like, oh, it's getting late. Yeah, like, burning daylight here.
That's so funny. So yeah, I agree with that. I catch feelings. I mean, that's how I ended up in the relationship I was in for 2 years. You know, I was more so open to a relationship.
Sure.
I will say in his defense, he told me that he didn't want like
He was
anything.
upfront about it. Yeah.
I mean, eventually that changed, but like,
Right.
and I was like, yeah, cool, me too. Which wasn't a lie, but then I caught feelings, and then I was like, oh no, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
So I agree. I can't really do that. I don't really understand how some people can do that, like how they're like actually detached. But that's a tangent.
What are you
But
looking for?
what am I looking
Yeah.
for? Great question. I feel like I also am like a little softy, and I feel like I do want a relationship. I also am kind of getting older. Not that I think I'm like old, but I would someday in the future like to have children.
Yeah.
And just like biologically that is something that like
Yeah.
I've started to think about, just because, you know, like sometimes women will be told like, okay, like by 35 or like at 35 you should like freeze your eggs,
Right.
you know, and 35 seems so far away, but then I think about it and I'm like, I'm basically halfway through 28 already.
Right.
I still have to meet someone, date them for a while, get engaged, get married. I don't want to have kids right away after
Right.
getting married. Like, that adds up.
Yeah.
And so I think right now I've kind of just been casually dating, and I'm okay with that. I think I'm kind of just at a point where I'm trying to not have expectations. And which is really hard,
yeah.
which is really hard, but I'm trying to just go into it as like, I'll go on this date, see where it goes, and like if it naturally like turns into a relationship and me and that person like both see that and we're on the same page about
Right.
it, great. And if not, that's fine.
That's fine,
Like
yeah.
that's why I'm dating, like to find that person.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm at now.
It sounds really healthy. Like that mindset does. Like being
We're
able to
trying.
be like, we're just gonna be casual, and if it gets somewhere good, it gets somewhere good.
We're trying.
But, yeah, I do feel for women as they get older because of that, like biological clock. Like that.
Y'all don't have to worry
not
about
something
that.
I have to worry about. I just keep getting better with age. It's wild. And
I mean, me too, actually. But and every breakup. A guy breaks up with me and I get hotter.
Boom.
Every time. It's just
every time a guy breaks up with her, I get hotter too.
It's a collective thing.
Yeah, it's an apartment thing. Megan gets hotter every time.
I come home and I'm like, guys, we have to get hotter.
Guess who's about to get hotter? All of us.
We are. That's funny. I just saw a video today of a stand-up comedian saying, like, you break up with a woman, he was like, and they start living their best life immediately. I was like, facts.
Yeah, I feel like we could talk about breakups. I don't know if we want to. Not like about our breakups personally, but about like
breakups in general,
like how people act after breakups. Because I feel like women immediately are like, time to post a bunch of hot pictures on my like story on Instagram.
I did.
Like, I feel like women do that for sure to try to be like,
I did.
Look what you gave up on.
Both
like,
times.
Yeah.
Cause I've never broken up with someone. I've
like
been
men almost
my
the
two
opposite,
serious relationships I've been broken up with. I've gotten my heart destroyed. Fun. And and if you'll remember, I did that for both of them.
I don't remember, but I believe you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty quickly was like, well,
time
to remind you.
Them. Yeah. But I was saying, I feel like men do like the opposite and just like go underground.
Fall off the face of the earth.
Yeah. I mean, obviously
that's
not
true.
true for all men,
I feel like we handled our breakups very differently. I will say though, also, I guess like kind of an interesting thing, not to get into it too much, but also my breakups I've been broken up with.
Sure.
And this last time you broke up with somebody.
Right.
Which is, I feel like also is, I imagine, brings different feelings.
Yeah, I mean, I've been on both ends of it, and breakups are shitty.
I mean, either way, they're awful.
Ways,
yes,
but it's very different
it's
reasons,
different, right?
Yeah, and you feel shitty in very different ways. But it's never like fun. You're never like sick. I get to break up with somebody. You know?
No, and that's not what I meant. But yeah, but yeah, you've been lucky enough to witness my breakups. I mean, not witness that, but the aftermath of that.
I'm like following her around and being like, do it now, do it.
No, I mean like the aftermath.
Yeah, that's true.
You've been the first person both times.
Makes sense. We live together.
Yeah.
So.
But I just came to that realization. You're the first person each time that. So he really got
the brunt of the emotions. Oh god. I think you were the first person when I.
Yeah, I was.
Too.
I was. Yeah.
Yeah.
And each time, I feel like we both were just like, "You okay?" Yeah. And then we just like we try to hold it together and we just like break. Yeah. I feel like when Remo broke up with me, I don't remember
that one a ton, to be honest with you.
I feel like I told you the next day, and I was just like, because our rooms were right next to each other, and our walls were so thin that I remember being like, he's gonna hear me crying, I have to tell him. And so, which we'll get into another episode, that I've learned that Noah just doesn't hear anything that's going on in our apartment at all. But I was like, he broke up with me last night, and so you might hear me crying, but like I'm fine. I don't.
But like I'm fine.
As I'm
just
bawling,
gonna be sobbing.
as I'm bawling, like
This is
I
the
just
best
don't want
I've
you.
ever been.
I was like, I just don't want you to like wonder what's going on. I'm just sad about it. Yeah, and I don't get over things quickly.
Yeah, the first breakup took you a while.
Yeah, here's the thing. I thought I was going to marry that man,
Right, which
I'm not.
Which makes things pretty devastating. Yeah, believe it or not, Kendra is not married to that man. But I get that would make it so much harder than like if you were casually dating or if you were still getting to that point. If you were like, oh,
Yeah.
I like him a lot, but we'll see where things go. And then he broke up with you, sucks.
Yeah,
But
and
if
you
you're
hadn't like talked about like
Right.
future things and like.
But if, you together have talked, like you said, he was bringing these things
Yeah.
up too, talk about like getting married and
Yeah.
starting a family. It's like a lot more invested.
And then
in
he's
that.
like, just kidding.
Yeah.
You're like, oh,
Mm,
I wasn't.
yeah. One of us was serious.
But yeah, fun stuff.
Yeah. So I haven't jumped back into dating yet, but
when
right
you do,
now I'm not super looking forward to it.
it's an experience.
Yeah. And I think dating like this is becoming more common in a lot of places, especially for people in their 20s and early 30s. But LA, it seems like it's like a...
LA is its own beast.
Yeah, it's like... It's... When I talk to people, it sounds like there's a lot of super casual dating of like many people at the same time.
Yeah.
Like one guy seeing like 3 girls.
Yeah.
All super casually. And same with like the girls.
3 is a low number,
Right.
honestly.
Like it's probably like this guy is seeing 3 girls and each of those girls are seeing like 3 guys. And I'm sure that's not true for everybody, obviously.
It's not true for everybody,
but
but
it sounds terrifying to me. Like I do not want to be involved in that at all. If I'm dating someone, I want to give I'm gonna give my effort all to that, and I want all her effort in that. And then if we decide we're not together,
but that doesn't seem like casual dating to me though. If you're giving all your effort to one person,
I guess
because
that's true. I guess I'm not really interested in casual dating at this point.
no, I don't think you are.
No. I mean,
because
first dates are always casual. Like I
because
don't
when
want
I say like I've been casually dating, like you know how I've been casually dating.
Yeah. I guess that's. I think I'd call that hooking up. But no, what you?
My mom can't listen
I
to
know,
this episode.
we can edit some of this out. But yeah, what you are doing is very similar to like casual dating in LA. And to me, that just seems like a lot to
keep track of.
Yeah, and just to like I know you're not going all in on any of these relationships, but to be like fostering all of them enough to keep them, it's just like, it sounds annoying to me.
Okay.
Like I wouldn't want to have to be texting like 3 different girls consistently. I barely want to text one girl. I hate texting.
You really do hate texting.
Which is brutal because in today's day and age of dating, like built so much around texting. The apps especially. People love talking on Instagram.
You really do.
There's a section of people that love talking on Snapchat.
Are you more of a phone call guy? FaceTime guy?
I like phone calls and FaceTime.
Because like my ex would just FaceTime me all the time.
Yeah, I guess I would like that a little more. You know what?
I mean, like we would text, but like sometimes he would just call me and be like, "This is just easier." And honestly, I was like, "I agree." Yeah. So cool.
To be honest, my view of texting is like, we don't need to be texting all day. We don't need to be talking all day. Like when
No, I don't think so either.
Like just to constantly be like, "Hey, how's it going? Good. How are you? How's the day going? Where are you getting for lunch?" Like if we see each other at the end of the day, then we can catch up and talk to each other. And like, it doesn't really matter what I ate for lunch, and I don't really care what you ate for lunch.
No, that's fair.
Right?
But you don't even like.
I just hate texting.
Texting like a little bit though.
Hate it so much.
Like Because
I also feel like my personality's better in person. I don't know how to get that through in text.
I concur on that, actually. I would say that's a true statement.
Why would you say that?
Because I know how you text.
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
And I know how you are in person.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing. Hey,
Yeah.
you're self-aware.
I am self-aware.
So you got that going for you.
Yeah.
I don't need to text the guy that I'm seeing, or even in like a full-blown relationship with.
Yeah.
I don't need to text him all day, every day. But I do enjoy an occasional morning beautiful, have a great day.
You know,
Love
here's
that.
the thing about hating texting. I still would
love
send
doing
like a
that.
good morning and good night. Like if I'm in a serious relationship, like I'm sending good morning and I'm sending good night.
Okay.
Every time.
Great. Love that.
But I don't think we need to talk in between there the entire day.
Not the
I'm not
entire
saying
day.
we don't have to talk, period. But like
Right.
we don't have to go from good morning right into like, how's it going? How'd you sleep? What are you doing
Yeah.
now? Like blah 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 blah. Like,
Yeah.
We can be like, good morning, morning, have a good day. Not talk for a while.
Yeah.
3 p.m. rolls around.
Okay.
You know?
Sure. For me, it would depend. I feel like if the guy communicated that with me and was like, hey, I'm just not into the whole texting thing. But like but I feel like you have to like make that
Make that
clear, because then it does kind of seem like you're just like ignoring them or something.
I guess that's fair. And I mean, early on, I get it too, because it's like, oh, is he actually into me? But like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's true, because texting is just such a big part of like our world now that it is kind of like, oh, he hasn't texted me in a few days, he must not be interested in me. Or like the guys that I have gone out with that like 3 weeks later will like text me like nothing, like we had just gone out 2 days ago, and act like, and I'm like, oh, nice to hear from you again, you know? Like, I'm like, where have you been?
Yeah.
I thought I was being ghosted, and here
I feel like that's
you
a symptom of this
reappeared.
casual dating too, though. Like, we go on a date and now, because like if I'm going on dates seriously, and at this point, younger me, if it didn't go well, I would probably just ghost them. At this point, I would at least like tell them like, hey, thanks for the date. I don't think we really had a connection.
Yeah.
But if I did like them and wanted to see them again, I wouldn't wait like 2 weeks. I would like wait a day or two maybe to not appear too eager. But like I would text them within a few days for sure.
No, but that's what I'm saying though. Yeah. I've never ghosted anybody. I've been ghosted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Multiple times.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody likes being ghosted.
No, it's just a lot of confusion.
Yeah.
Because there's disappeared. It's like, are they just not into me? Or are they busy? Or
Also, it's just not hard to send. Like, that's the thing, is you can just text it. Like, you don't even have to like do it face to face.
Right.
It's not that hard. Like, and if you never want to see me again, then you shouldn't care about telling me and like making me feel sad or anything. You don't have to deal with me. You don't want to see me. So like, just tell me that. Like,
yeah.
not everyone is going to like everyone. Some people just aren't meant to be together. That's
Right.
fine. But just like tell me that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, dating in LA is there's just lots of big personalities.
Yeah.
I'm going to speak for myself as a straight woman. I feel like I have guys who they're little categories, right? Like you got the like actor model types who are just like, not all of them, but like a lot of them. I'm like, oh, that's your headshot. Oh, that's a modeling shirtless photo. Oh, another one. Oh, that's you with a famous actor trying to like, you know, seem cool and stuff. Great. You know, like, love that.
Yeah.
And then you have like the gym rats,
Right.
the gym bros, arguably the worst.
They're the worst. You know, in my head, I feel like they would do the best on those apps because of how superficial it is. So like these ripped guys with like pics with their shirts off.
I mean, it depends. Like if you just have like, if you're a ripped guy and you have like one like photo of you at the beach. I always joke that guys in Wisconsin on dating apps are like, look at me with this fish, and then guys in California are like, look at me at this beach.
Sure.
I feel like that's the two.
That seems pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where like if you're on the beach and you want to like post one like beach photo of you shirtless, I'm not gonna probably be mad about it if you're an attractive guy. But then have like normal other looking photos.
Right.
If all of your photos on the dating app are gym selfies, I will immediately not want to date you.
Right. Like, do you
it's
do
a hard
anything
pass.
else?
No matter if I find you attractive or not, you immediately become more, or you become less attractive to me. Because that's a thing. Once you get to know somebody, if their personality is awful, they can become less attractive.
Oh, for sure.
And
or
vice
more
versa.
attractive if you like their personality. Yeah.
So yeah, that's, and then you have like the business guys who are just about like flaunting their money.
Like finance bros.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who are like, I'll teach you about Bitcoin, and
They put that in their dating profile?
like if there was one person that I've seen those, yeah. And then if like, you know, who's one person you want to have dinner with? Elon Musk. Like if you say anything, listen, here's the thing. If you say anything about Elon Musk, I immediately exit.
Yeah, taking over Twitter.
No. Yeah, I know. Disgusting. I don't want to talk about it. No, I don't want to date you. If
so interesting.
anybody in the whole world and you're going to choose Elon Musk? No.
Yeah.
I don't need to date you. I don't.
You know,
but I don't know. Like, do you have like categories like for
I was
women?
just trying to think. Yeah, like I said, it's tough for me because I haven't been on for a while.
True.
For a few years. Women, well, here's the thing that from my perspective that I see is women have a lot of good pictures of themselves and pictures with friends, because women take pictures when they go out for a girls' night or go out and they're all dressed up. They get pictures together. They take pictures in the apartment, at the bar. They take pictures specifically to take pictures, and they look. If it's not good, they take another one. Men don't do that. Like, I feel like that's why.
No, but I do remember us going on a hike when we first moved out here, and you sat on a rock and you said, no, we were in a waterfall. And you said, take a pic of me for Tinder.
You got to do it when you can.
And I did.
But that's the thing. This is why I defend men in Wisconsin who have pictures of them holding fish. Like, don't get me wrong. Don't do it. Like, it's not a good picture for your dating profile. But to them,
it just doesn't need to be everyone, you know?
To them, they're like, oh, I need to pick out good pictures of myself. Let me look at the pictures of myself. The only pictures they have of themselves are the pictures of them taking fish. It's not like they're like, hey, let's go to the bar tonight and let's take pictures against this cute wall. Like, there's no guys doing that. So, like, their best picture is this fishing picture. Or, like, they don't have any other recent pictures that are good. So,
true, that's fair.
Same with, like, I think guys, you said there's the actors. Oh, that's their headshot. Of course, it's the best picture of them.
I don't know. There's something about using a headshot for a dating profile, though.
Yeah, it's
that,
a little.
Like,
if I see it, it feels a little.
Like, I can see that on Hinge or Actors Access. You know, like, they shouldn't be the same.
If it's just one, it's still like weird to you.
I'm kind of like, but it's not.
For clarity, I've used it.
Yeah, I know he has.
Profile before.
I'm aware of this. I've looked at your
Never a fish
profile.
picture though. Never a fish picture.
No, good man.
Yeah, Machu Picchu. That was my picture. I'd still probably use it, and it's like 6 years old.
That's another thing, though. I feel like guys use really old photos of themselves too.
Exactly what I was saying. We don't have many good photos of ourselves.
So start taking photos of yourself. Or when you're out with friends.
No. I'm speaking for all men right there.
I also will say, if all of your photos are group photos and I cannot tell which one you are.
Right, that's fucked for either men or women.
I came across a profile once.
You can have pictures with friends. Don't have only pictures of yourself. A couple pictures with friends. But enough of just you that I can spot you in that group picture then easily. But so that is my defense of men who have old pictures, fish pictures, any pictures on dating apps. We got to cut them some slack.
Do you have any fun dating stories or like awful dating stories?
I don't have any really great ones, to be honest. Like I said, that first date I went out here,
I almost took a sip of this.
Nice. The first date I went on out here, this isn't like insane or anything, but met on Bumble and we met up. You know, when I first got out here, I was kind of excited to date because it gave me an opportunity to try new restaurants and new bars in the area that I like, because I'm new here. I didn't know what places. So we went down, met up on like Magnolia right off of Lancashire. So we're going to Fat Dog. I was excited to try it. It's this restaurant and they've got a bunch of beers.
In NoHo.
Pretty cool. So I get there and I sit down and I'm waiting. And the funny thing about waiting is too, like I positioned myself so I could see the door and people would walk in and you like see their pictures on their profile, obviously, but in person it's hard to gauge. And it's like maybe they changed their hair, maybe the way they're dressed is different. So there are a few times like a woman would walk in and be like, I think that's her, I'd, like kind of like wave, and it wasn't her. But then this girl comes in and I'm like, oh, perfect. All right, we'll have some food and maybe a drink or two and get to know each other. She came in and she's like, oh no, I actually like just ate. So I was like, well, now I can't order food and like have a meal in front of her while she just like. So I still bought like an appetizer for us to split, but I was like really excited to like, I was excited for the date, but I was excited to try new restaurants too. And now I didn't get to.
No, it was like, I was just here for the food.
Yeah. Well, and also like if I were a girl, I'd be like free meal, sick.
I have done that.
Yeah. But so we sat there for a while. Like I said, it was pretty boring. Felt like we were interviewing each other. Truthfully, when we walked out, I was kind of like, I think we can probably be done. But she was like, she must have liked me because she was like, yeah, I don't know, you want to like go for a walk around the area? I was like, sure. So we walked a bit around and talked some more, and we ended up back at right by El Tejano, and we go in, and it was a Thursday night, I believe, and the Chargers were on Thursday Night Football. I'm a Chargers fan. And I remember being like, I gotta go to the bathroom. And I like walked back there and stopped and like watched the game for like 5 minutes and like checked my fantasy scores. They lost, but it was a tight one. It was against the Chiefs. I think Eckler had a huge game though, which was great for my fantasy team. Anyways, we, had like a drink there and then left, walked a little more, and then it finally ended. And I was like, well, that was boring. But that was also one where today I've matured enough to like I would have texted her and been like, hey, thanks for the date.
Yeah, I was gonna say, didn't she text you?
She never texted me, but like when I like walked to her car and she was like, well, that was fun, like we should do this again. And I was like, yeah. And never I didn't text her, but she didn't text me, so it's not like she reached out and I ghosted her. Like, yeah, maybe she actually didn't have fun either, and she was just trying to like be nice. Yeah I get that. But as far as like horrible dating, not really. I don't think I would. I think I have a pretty good gauge of like horrible people. Like I wouldn't go on a date with an awful person, and I trust myself enough to like be able to be like, oh yeah, I would never go on a date with that person.
I mean, I think that too, and yet, here I sit with some bad date stories. Well, Mike from Starbucks, which we heard about. And then, I mean, honestly, there's a few.
What's the worst one?
I'm trying to think of which would be the worst. I think Rob.
Oh.
Do you remember Rob?
Roberto, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Rob. That one's not really like haha funny bad.
No,
it
was bad. It was a bad day. Yeah. We met on Bumble. And it was still like kind of when things were like shut down, so you couldn't really like go anywhere. And here's the thing, I've been awful. And I definitely, the first time I meet a guy, have just gone to his place to hang out.
Sorry, Angie.
Which, like, in hindsight, not safe, not great,
Right. But
probably should meet someone out in public before I go somewhere where he could just murder me. But I went to Rob's apartment, and he, on his profile, advertised that he had a dog, right? Men know that women love that.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure we talked about like his dog also, like in the app, like talking.
Interesting. I've used dog pictures, but I'm like clear, like, oh, they're my parents, or like, oh, that's just my friend's dog. Like, I never claim that it's mine.
Right. So I was expecting there to be a dog there, you know, because fun, and there was no dog. And I asked him about it, and he was like, oh yeah, I just moved into this place. My twin brother is keeping her because this place can't have pets. And I was like, why would you move somewhere that doesn't allow pets if you have a pet?
You have a dog.
And he was like, I had to move out. Like, he gave me this whole thing about how like he had to move out quickly and he had to find a place, and this place accepted him, and it was just like whatever. So I was like, okay. So then we like sat out on his balcony, and he made us drinks. I had that one drink. He had 4. And and he just like, you know, he like asked about like previous relationships, and it was still pretty soon after my first breakup. I was still kind of hurting, you know, and I was like, oh, you know, just like briefly telling him about, and he kept like badgering me for like details though and stuff, and I was like, I mean,
not
like
great
why
for a date conversation,
you know?
like, don't.
And so like, you know, I told him, you know, that it was like serious and I really loved the guy, and blah blah blah, all this stuff, you know. And then I don't even know how we got into some of these topics, but long story short, he told me multiple not great things that night. One, he said that my ex was a narcissist who never truly loved me, and I never truly loved him. And I said, I think I might know my feelings a little bit better than you do. He did not agree with that. He seemed pretty set on the idea that I didn't actually love him, and that I was trying to make up for some type of unfulfilled something that I, from like when I was younger. Because somebody I loved when I was younger didn't love me back, and so I was trying to, I don't know, something like that. And I was like, that's not
big like wannabe psychologist
necessarily true. And then proceeded to tell me about how he doesn't think that there's necessarily like really racist people in LA.
I do remember you telling me that he said that.
And I was like,
pretty insane.
That's wild that you think that. And that, you know, everybody has the same opportunities and stuff. And I was like, no, like there are people that like don't get the same opportunities, and it doesn't have anything to do with them not working hard or anything. Like there's just people who like don't, based off of like their race, gender, like whatever it may be, like religion, like are discriminated against, you know. And he was like, okay, like who? And I was like, Black people, immigrants like yourself, because he was an immigrant from Spain. Had only lived here for like 4 years or something like that. And he was a wealthy immigrant. So he did like luxury real estate. So, you know, money to him wasn't like a thing. And he didn't believe that. And then he told me that he thought that all sex workers are sad and broken, and didn't think that sex work is real work. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. Have you ever been to a strip club?
That's so funny.
And he was like, well, yeah. And I was like, okay, so you'll give your money to them, but you won't like recognize them as like real workers and like people who still deserve like respect and everything. And he was just like, well, no, because like, you know, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, you know, gave me some bullshit answer.
Yeah.
And like so much more. And I was just like, eventually, because I sat there for too long, it kind of got to a point where I was like, what else is he gonna throw out there?
Yeah.
Like, might as well just, I'm in this ride. I might as well just like.
We should see if we can get this guy as a guest on the pod.
Absolutely not. And yeah, and eventually I was like, I'm gonna go. Yeah. And then I left, and he texted me. Do you remember this?
I remember you telling me something, but I can't remember what he said.
He texted me, and it said, like, good thing you left when you did. Like 10 more minutes, and I would have picked you up from your chair and brought you to my bed to make out. And I was like,
this guy really thought the date was going well.
He really thought it went well.
He's like, I'm crushing this. Like,
he really,
like, yeah.
Me questioning all this stuff, getting mad. Because, like, anytime that I tried to, like, defend myself, he would, like, shoot me down and then be like, you're getting really defensive. And I'm like, yeah, because you keep trying to tell me how I feel.
Right.
And listen, if there is one way to get me riled up, it's tell me how I feel. Do it. I dare you. Tell me. Because I don't know how I feel. So you please let me know my own feelings about a past thing that you were not at and have no knowledge of. Please tell me how I was actually feeling about it. Oh, it made me so mad.
Yeah.
And yeah, but he apparently didn't pick up on any of that. So shout out to Rob for being my worst date.
Yeah, probably. I'm sorry you had to go through that. This is a shitty experience, but at least now you have a very terrible date story to share.
Yeah, and I mean, I have a few others, you know, but that one stands out.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
There was something you said in there that made me want to say something. Oh, on a lighter note, just thinking of strip clubs. I've only been to one in my entire life, and it was this past summer. First time.
Your brother's bachelor party.
I don't get it. I don't get them.
I remember you saying that.
I spent like money, and like, don't get me wrong, like, beautiful girls in barely any clothing,
cool,
dancing.
Yeah.
There's so much porn on the internet for free. I just don't get the appeal of strip clubs, and your money goes fast. I also don't know like how quick I'm supposed to be throwing.
They're hardworking women. They deserve to have some money, you know.
Right.
That's the whole thing about it, you know.
Yeah, I guess what I don't understand is like, as the consumer, it doesn't really feel like I'm getting that much value out of it.
But I also feel like you are not the target demographic for strip clubs. Strip clubs are for rich men who genuinely, for some weird reason, enjoy just throwing out money. Like, I feel like they enjoy. It's like a power thing. They feel like. Yeah, like they enjoy being like, oh, I can just. Yeah. Throw away $500 tonight. No big deal.
Maybe that's it. Maybe I'm just too poor.
I'm
too poor to enjoy strip clubs. Yeah. That honestly might be it, because I think now that you mention that, they're doing that at the strip club. It is always in my head, like, do I have to go spend more money on this?
Or like sad old men.
Yeah.
I feel like those are the strip club regulars.
Well, a lot of bachelor parties go. I don't know. It does seem like there are young guys that like enjoy it, that aren't like, you know, millionaires.
I guess I can't. I don't know. I'm trying to speak on it. I can't.
I don't know.
Because I don't go to strip clubs.
Just thought I'd throw that out there. But yeah, that's dating for us. Is there anything else you want to talk about in regards to dating? Any disclaimers you want to throw out there? Obviously, this is from our experience, so it's from a straight woman and a straight male.
True. Yes.
You know, obviously we can't speak for what dating's like
for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, a lot of this is just fraud generalizations.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna end this.
Yep. We're gonna wrap this thing up.
With what we think would be our perfect first date. So, Noah, KB.
Mm-hmm.
What's your perfect first date?
For
all the ladies out there that are trying to plan a date.
Ladies, I am single, so
with the one and only Noah.
First date. Send an email to our business account with your resume. But my perfect first date, if I'm being honest, if I'm answering this question seriously,
I think you should. Why would you lie?
For fun. I don't think I needed it to be too, like, the events itself don't need to be anything special.
Yeah. Okay.
I prefer like late morning coffee or brunch or like a lunch over like drinks or dinner and drinks for a first
really
date.
interesting.
I think dinner and drinks are a good date. But maybe like a second or third date.
Why do you feel like there's just more pressure when it's later
I feel
later
like it's
at
too
night?
much like, oh, we're on a formal date. We're like eating dinner and drinking. Like, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
It feels weird to me. Whereas like, if you're getting coffee with somebody, I feel like, there's just a lot less pressure. So you can just be like, oh, we'll just get to know each other. And if we don't have that connection, we don't. Not a big deal. Whereas dinner, I don't know. Dinner just feels so much, there's something weird about it to me. So yeah, I think a pretty close to perfect first date for me would be a cute little coffee shop. Maybe we sit outside on a nice day. We 72 degrees, slight breeze.
All you need is a light jacket.
I get a black coffee, of course.
Right. Lukewarm.
You get whatever you like, whoever the girl is. Lucky ladies. And we just get to know each other, and we make each other laugh a lot, and we connect. That's a great first date for me.
Okay.
Alternatively, you show up at my apartment in a limo. I get in. We drive down to SoFi Stadium on a Sunday. It's 10 a.m. The Chargers are playing the Chiefs. You paid for the best parking in the entire lot. We get out. We're hammering Pacificos, some PBRs. We're playing Flip Cup. You've also flown in all my best friends, unbeknownst to me. They were shocked when a girl they've never heard of reached out and said, I'm going on a first date with your friend Noah. But they said, yeah, we're on board. So we're all just there partying, drinking. Wow. We go. Chargers beat the Chiefs 48-6. Justin Herbert throws so many touchdowns, and afterwards comes up to me and we hang out. The date ends. I'm just hanging out with Justin Herbert now.
Wow. For a man who says he doesn't need the date to really any event, or that, he's cool, just a casual coffee. Sure.
Either one of those are good. Yeah.
Thought about that scenario very detailed and could say it very quickly.
I know what I want. I know what I'm about. What would be your first date? I imagine also involving SoFi Stadium and the Chargers.
Absolutely not.
Perfect first date. Let's hear it, Kenny.
I feel like I'm a little like in between, not the limo date, but the like coffee and the like dinner. Like, sure. I don't need it to be like a big event either. However, I do want it to feel like a date and not just like, oh, I'm going to like catch up with a friend or something. Yeah. Like, I don't know. So I don't know that, like, I guess I'm saying I need to be a little bit more than just like coffee.
Sure.
I think like a nice dinner is always good. I don't want it to be a movie because you can't talk.
Movies are horrible. For a first date.
Not about that.
Right. How do you get to know each other?
Yeah. I feel like dinner is nice, or like going to the beach to watch the sunset and maybe having like a little picnic, or just like
that's a cute date.
Something. Or like you just go and then like get like a drink or something. Yeah. I feel like, yeah. I mean, listen, I'm not going to stop a man from planning a nice elaborate date for me. Go right ahead.
Right.
Has it happened though ever? Not really. I will say, actually, with Remo, our first date, we walked around the arts district in NoHo. Because that was like my like first day out here, and I will say I was like nervous.
Yeah.
And I wanted it to be like more low key. So we just like, yeah, we walked around, and then but it was like such a good date that like he like walked me to my car and then like left, but like crossed the street and then called me and was like, "What are you doing right now?" And I was like,
Yeah.
like nothing. He's like, "Well, do you have to like leave right now?" And I was like, "No." And he was like, "Okay, let's go get ice cream." And then like we went and like got ice cream
Yeah.
and stuff, and like walked some more, and that was like a really good date. But I think it was just good because like we just obviously like
Right.
connected, and like we talked for so long, and then like didn't want to stop.
Right.
So we like, but like now that I've dated more, I do feel like, especially because I think I have been doing so much casual dating
Right.
lately, where the guys don't put in a lot of effort, if any.
Right. I've been saying right
That is just what
I said. I've been saying right a lot, so I'm gonna stop saying that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That it would feel nice to like. I just feel like if a guy plans something, then I'm like, oh, he like is like actually
Right.
interested. Where like if he doesn't, then I'm like, oh, he's just like doing this because I suggested we go out sometime, and he just wants to hook up with me, so he's like putting up with this date so that he can, and that's it, which like is whatever.
Yeah.
I usually
That's
know
what
that
casual
going
dating
into it.
is,
Yeah. But
Yeah.
doesn't always feel the greatest, you
Right.
know? So I feel like, yeah, it doesn't need to be elaborate, but like a little bit of effort would be nice.
But it would still be like, you prefer something like that where it's like a picnic or a dinner or a drink over like an activity based date, like hiking or rock climbing or.
I think so for a first date, because I'm with you where like I'd rather just like get to know. I have gone on like a hiking first date, and not that it was bad, but I can't look as cute.
And so that's why, because interesting.
And that's not the only reason.
Sure.
But like, I don't know. I don't want to be like huffing and puffing.
Yeah,
and being
no, I get
like,
that for sure.
So, how's your family? Or like whatever you ask people. Like I feel like I did go on a first date where he picked me up and we drove to Malibu and we watched the sunset.
Oh, nice.
And like we just sat on a blanket on the beach and watched the sunset and like got to know each other, and it was really nice actually because there wasn't any pressure. There like wasn't people around. And I mean, I love the beach, and I love a good sunset.
There you go.
So you can't go wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a pretty good date idea because it is pretty relaxed.
Yeah.
There's not like some crazy high investment in it, that it's like, this has to be good. It's just like, hey, let's just sit and talk, get to know each other.
Right. Which I feel like is like nice for the guy too.
Well, I think that about wraps it up.
Yeah.
For dating.
I think so.
With Kendra and Noah.
I'm sure we'll discuss this topic again sometime.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will say I do enjoy dating more than I thought I would.
Okay.
And I never thought I would be able to be a casual dater, and look at me now.
Yeah, you did come a long ways, even from, like you said, that first guy you dated out here. Like, you didn't go into that relationship as like casual dating in LA.
No.
You were like serious from the start, and like you said, you guys both jumped in like head first and were very serious. I think it was kind of, from my perspective, it seemed like because of that ending and like how hard that was for you, like the casual dating came up.
Yeah. But
cool. Well, I think that wraps it up for us.
So
thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Thanks for all of your support.
Yeah. We appreciate you. As always, follow us on Instagram at H2T with Kendra and Noah. We're on TikTok now.
We are on TikTok now. We're on YouTube, of course. Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, like, comment, subscribe.
Like, comment, subscribe. As always, text us and tell us what you think. Tell us what we could do better. Tell us what
please
we did great. Tell me I'm pretty.
Tell me to stop talking so much. And we'll see you next time.
We will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.